All right, welcome back for our final feature match of Aetherdrift League. We're here in week 6. We got our final feature match. We got John P, Goku or Go Home, against Nick A, who, much like you, is staying up late in Europe tonight to join us here. What's he looking at so far with his hand?
Yeah, I appreciate Nick representing the UK for us, and he kept a one-lander.
Oh,
Night Market is his only land in hand. Other than that, there's a Wreckage Wickerfolk, Spinout, Speed Demon, an Intrepid Meteorologist is an LCI 2 mana dog for dinosaurs, and a Market Back Walker and Run Over.
okay.
If he if he draws a second land, he can make some plays, but that was definitely gutsy.
Yeah, I will say it's not in my capabilities to keep that to keep that hand, but hopefully he'll get his land and not have any trouble this game. For John P over here, he's got a Greenbelt Guardian. He's got a Migrating Ketrodon. He's got 3 black cards, which as of yet he can't cast. Risky Shortcut, Wreckage Wickerfolk, and Intimidation Tactics. So both these players are looking to string together some wins here in week 6 to try and push towards top 8. They're both at 16 wins, so they got a few to go. Um, John's at 16-9, Nick's at 16-10. So this will be an elimination match for Nick, and it's looking like he didn't get his land.
Mhm.
Uh,
I mean, I do understand the impulse being on the draw. He had 2 chances to draw land, but the chance just being about 35% twice, which is not quite the same as 70%. Uh, he sadly
yeah, I can't.
missed his chance.
Yeah, I can't. It's too risky.
Ah,
Even if there's a reasonable chance, it's still a little risky. I mean, this surveil here is a strong incentive to try and keep that hand, since you get to clear out the next couple draws, hopefully. But the fail
yes.
case of is just you don't get you discard the hand size. All right, here's a Wastewood Verge, so pretty nice draw here uh, for John, who was in danger of missing his third land drop for the second turn in a row.
Mhm. It is also interesting that we are seeing a Golgari mirror splashing additional bombs.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't seen anything from John yet, but I know he was playing 3 colors earlier in the league. He did talk about it a bit on the podcast here, but only green and black cards so far. The risky shortcut finds no additional lands here.
And despite digging far down the deck, surveilling away both other cards, he did not find another land, but a Hazard of the Dunes, and
Okay.
earlier a Stampeding Scurryf.
I mean, John's hits his fourth land here. He does have 5 black cards, all of which are cheap, but due to his current lands in play, he can only play one of them this turn. So he has 5 black cards, all of which are 1 or 2 mana. Yeah, so he's going to use his turn to kill off both the creatures here. He's going to give Nick an extra card, but he's going to take this trade.
Yeah,
Trade the overdrive.
Nick was pretty much guaranteed that additional card by just using the Walker to block anything. But the Overdrive, of course, takes away the Wreckage Wickerfolk for the next few turns of blocking. There's a third, which now allows us to either play Spin Out or cycle away a Migrate of Market Back Walker.
All right. John's deciding which of his black spells he wants to cast here with only one source. I think he's pretty much forced to spin out here.
Yes. Also, if he didn't want to spin out, it would have made more sense to cycle the Catradon in case of drawing a tapped land that he could have into the game and untap with it next turn.
All right, so off goes the Greenbelt Guardian. In comes the Wreckage Wickerfolk. There's 2 green
Mhm.
cards on top. Fang Guardian and Stampeding Scurryfoot. Just
Finding
to keep them both.
a single forest would stabilize Nick nicely. Instead, we get a Grim Bauble, so we can cycle the Catrodon and also, well, hope there's a target. And there is a forest that we are hoping for.
Okay, okay.
That is now allowing him to play the Pantheologist as a additional mana source.
And I mean,
And
if the game goes long enough, which I mean, it's this thing's just dying. But one cool thing is that the Ketrodon is a dinosaur. So
mhm. The Hazard of the Dooms next turn might stabilize the field. But when he plays it,
yeah,
there is still too much coming in.
yeah. The Fang Guardian just puts 2 extra damage last turn, and then a 4/2 in play here.
Well, there's a Grim Bauble and Tendril of the Micro Tyrant just got drawn and is getting played to maybe get another turn out of it.
Yeah, just a chump block, it seems.
Exactly. He's considering it. There we have it.
Yeah, so based on what we see, Nick will be getting another turn here. It's just what kind of shape is he going to be in here? Because Scurryfoot's coming down.
Yeah, there is a Mindspring Merfolk, which means there's an additional the third color. Well, he took a risk that was not unreasonable, I would say. But definitely the risk was high and sadly didn't pay off. Right now we see in the sideboard that he is playing a good amount of additional blue cards in form of Merfolk, Transit Mage that can pick up a Spike Shell Harrier, Earth Rumbler, Demon. Flood the Engine is also in here, and Haunt the Network.
All right. Thank you for filling in while I cleared my sinuses there.
Of course.
So I know John was running a 3-color deck earlier in the league, but he has gone down to 2 colors here for the final run. Just black green here, highlighted by 2 Agonosaur Rex and Ether Spark. And up there at the top of the curve, just hanging out there, Breach the Multiverse. So pretty strong looking deck here. I mean, both players had a bit of mana stumbling that game. John just stumbled less.
Yep. Nick sideboarding some stuff. Also, what I didn't mention, there is a Loot the Pathfinder in here, who requires him to play both blue and red, which would be the fourth color, and also red for a very dangerous card for LCI, the Trumpeting Carnosaur.
Okay,
Who
so
is
he's
terrifying?
yeah, we could just call it a 4-color deck, but absolutely
Yeah.
a powerful deck to be sure.
Yeah, the only problem, of course, of the Carnosaur is that he requires you to have 2 red pips to get the big mode. But worst case, you can still just use a single red and use it for some solid damage. We are looking at another one lander hand. Time not keeping it.
Yeah, so interesting how John sort of went down on colors here for the last week. Just figuring, okay, I have what I need. I don't need mana trouble anymore. Let me just have a focused, consistent deck.
Nick is not happy with his mold to 6, but he is not going further down.
Okay.
Considering to either put away a spin out or one of his 2 dredgers inside, even though he doesn't have a yet. He chose to put away the spin out and found the forest he needed.
Okay, interesting.
So he can cast a paleontologist, has 2 dredgers insides and a wreckage wicker folk, so he is digging very deeply into his deck, selecting whatever he needs.
Yeah, John's going to be do some digging also here, perhaps in the dirt, as we might say on our server. He finds Engine Rat and Ether Spark. on top. He has still in hand another Wreckage Wickerfolk, Risky Short Hut, Beast Rider Vanguard, Defend the Rider, and two Forests. So he's pretty lean and mean this game. He's going to be able to play all of his spells basically.
Mm-hmm. First insight, revealing two very solid creatures. Not game winners, but plays that can easily hold down the fort with Spike Shell Harrier and Hazard of the Dunes, choosing the Hazard.
Okay, Hazard is pretty good here.
Mm-hmm.
Another insight. Okay.
I'm assuming that's going to be the Ketrodon.
He's going to gain 2 life now.
Yes, and
Pretty good.
that is, that is going to stabilize for a long match. Also, because he drew a stock up, he's going to be able to further just find powerful creatures that can hopefully overwhelm Goku.
Yeah, so without any removal here, John is just might be in trouble against these creatures that are just going to be larger than his.
Yeah, the Engine Rat, just as in earlier feature matches, is going to be its money's worth by taking out at least one big attack.
Yeah, no,
Because
it's going to be nice, but we'll see if it's going to be quite enough.
Nick is at least missing any kind of removal. So it's not like he can play a Grim Bauble to take care of the rat itself.
Yeah, I mean John's in the same boat. We just got stuff to do here, but the stuff that Nick has is a little more beefy than the stuff that John has right now. With he can cast the Ether Spark, but it's not really safe here on this board.
Oh, but
He is still
can't
going to do it.
resist. Nobody can resist that shiny little thing.
Yeah, I mean the Ether Spark can't be attacked at the very least. So
And also starting to put counters on his creatures. Always a decent idea. Next turn he could put another counter on the Wickerfolk and putting loyalty on it.
yeah, I still don't even know what to make of this Ether Spark card. I mean, I know it's good, but it's like it's such a strange card.
Which was most likely the desired result. We drew into another forest, which we'll get our sixth mana source, so we can further block the Wickerfolk from getting loyalty counters on that Ether Spark.
Yeah, I'm sad. It was on my Ether Spark bucket list, or not the. It was on my Aetherdrift bucket list to take a an Ether Spark with a Trade the Helm, but it never occurred. That was on my list of things to do, but sadly, I never had the opportunity to do such a thing.
Yeah, I it's it's pretty successful in being as strange as it sounds to have an equipment planeswalker in the first place. Though I start to not really see it as a planeswalker and more as just an equipment that draws you cards if you deal damage.
I do like drawing cards, so I can't say bad things about this card. But I
Mhm.
can say sort of bad things about the power that John might be facing down here.
Yeah, it's intimidating, but as so often, the board is still stalling because that single rat is just looking mean. But
Interesting, yeah.
we just drew a run over, which is going to clear up this problem very fast.
Yeah, so John has a risky shortcut in hand. He opted to leave up Defend the Rider instead.
Smart choice. Uh, Making that decision right when his draws the removal that he needed,
Uh-oh.
he might be able to capitalize, which is, as so often, showing us why John is resisting the greedy play.
Yeah, he's. I mean, he wants to protect something. Of note, Defend the Rider can target any permanent. So if the opponent did get Broken Wings or something that could target the Ether Spark, it would be. He could save it.
On stock up, we are looking at 3 lands, Speed Demon, and Spin Out. He might have to take. Well, he doesn't have to take any of the lands because his color's getting fixed by the Mana Dog anyway.
Yeah, I'm thinking he probably wants Speed Demon.
He took both. He took the Speed Demon and Spin Out, leaving away the land.
Yep, pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just getting walled off here by this engine wrap. It looks like he's ready to tussle finally.
It might mess up his Ketradon really badly. The attack removal. Not expecting John to protect this creature.
I mean, John doesn't have to do anything right yet. Yeah, I don't think he needs to do this. I think he's asking to
Yeah.
get 2-for-1 if he's doing this.
Huh.
Yeah, I feel like you wait for your opponent to act before you. Yeah, I like using that in response to something opponent's doing, if I can. Yeah, I don't think he had to press the issue here, but looks like we're going to draw some cards because that's how we do with the Aether Spark. All right, he's drawn a Hazard of the Dunes and also a Run Over, so he could kill the opposing Hazard of the Dunes. He could target it with Run Over.
And if he is fortunate, he's going to and gets another land. He can trigger the Hazard of the Dunes to wall off the Migrating Ketradon, chipping away as Nick over the next few turns, drawing more cards and dealing more.
Yep, he says it's time to attack. If you want to kill my 2/4 and attack my Aether Spark, I'm fine with that. I've gotten 2 cards off of it, and I get to attack him, my opponent, for 6. Yeah, he did the Run Over now just in case an untapped land came down for the opponent's hazard. So he just said, let's avoid that.
Nick drew a malicious kind of a 3 of his double black pips.
Yeah, you just cut out, so I did not hear what you were saying.
Okay. Nick is in a color problem. He just drew Malicious Eclipse, which is the 3rd spell that asked for 2 black sources. So even if he has the amount of mana, he doesn't have the colors to play more than 1 spell.
Okay, yeah, that is a problem when you're playing a bunch of colors, right?
Especially playing the multiple pips. But he did a strong choice using the removal and taking out the Aether Spark.
Yeah, but the upside is that John gets to attack back for more than half of his opponent's remaining life here.
Yeah. And we found a swamp.
Okay. Yeah, last card left for John is the Risky Shortcut. So a surprise 2 damage, perhaps, if he can squeeze it in after an attack.
Wicker Folk is looking at Stampeding Scurryfoot and Cursecloth Wrappings.
Huh.
Speed Demon might be a strong choice for...
Speed Demon's not looking good anymore. After that,
yeah,
when he was at 20 2 turns ago, Speed Demon was looking okay. When he's at 9, Speed Demon's looking it's not as good, I'll say.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say, I should correct myself, not a strong choice, but a tempting choice. Drawing a few cards to get into the offensive.
Yeah, I still have not seen enough of Speed Demon in play to figure out if it's good or not. I think I've maybe put it in a deck once, or maybe not. I remember I had the chance to take it when I was in black, and I just took like a Wicker Folk instead in pack 3.
Okay, Nick chose to keep both cards on the deck, but changed the order, putting Cursecloth Wrappings on the top, which is a really important thing to do, because his life is getting low, yes, but Dredger's Insight and Cursecloth Wrappings are going to gain him 2 life each turn.
All right, he is going for the Speed Demon here, and he's going to take an extra 2. All right, he's drawn a Web Strike Elite. which is the rare with cycling, the green card. I
I
mean, I
wonder.
think he's just going to attack and maybe let the opponent, you know, do himself in here with the speed demon.
Nick uh, might just play the wrappings and hope to build up the board.
Yeah, what's the plan when you're at 6 life and you have a speed demon in play? Your opponent's at 18 life. I guess
Oh,
you draw a couple, you string a couple of removals together from your extra draws. That Kurthklass wrappings can get targeted by the Web Strike Elite next turn.
mhm. Not knowing about the Web Strike Elite, I would still completely understand the idea because he is going to play a creature out of the graveyard, taking
Oh, the life
getting
gain.
back the life every turn.
Okay,
Uh,
speed demon looking a little better now.
mhm. He drew Mind Spring Wheel, which is able to draw him even more cards next turn.
All right.
But generally, he can outvalue his opponent until
Yeah, this Kurthklass wrappings is getting done in here though.
yes,
So no more of that. He said.
for good reason. It was a value engine that would have won this game.
So he's attacking here. He does have a maximum overdrive, so this could be
Oh,
extremely painful
oh no!
because of
It's
the
like
the trample and the death touch teaming together.
hmm, it's like watching a car crash. You know it's gonna be ugly, but you can't look away. Get it because it's a racing set.
Ah, of course, yes,
Thank you, thank you.
I knew it.
I
I've been in too many car accidents to stare at other people's accidents. So.
that is you are just a better person than I am. But also, I just had to force the pun. We have the last match of this set, and I have to put them into overdrive.
Yes, I did tell you that you were responsible for the racing puns today, since I'm already 6 weeks deep in it. But pretty good draw here with that maximum overdrive. That's kind of gonna wrap up this game more or less. I guess he can
Um,
cast his Ketrodon. He's gaining 2 life, and he could go back up to 7.
mhm.
Look at this life gain.
Yeah, I would never count him out yet.
Yeah, like the paleontologist text is making sense here.
It's also an interesting situation that he doesn't want to attack unless he really feels comfortable losing more than one life.
Yeah, I don't know if he can. Okay, he says, "Let me do it."
He is putting the foot on the gas, and we are accelerating to a bombastic end to one way or the other.
No traffic jams here.
Not at all. We are speeding.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's a risky line, but when you have the speed demon in play that says, eventually you're gonna lose all your life, he's taking the risk here, and it's not coming back to bite him yet. It almost did. He was at 1 with the speed demon, and then he's now suddenly at 5, and he's drawn 2 cards, two more cards. So
Yeah,
very
and
excellent use
I
of this speed demon here.
absolutely, and I understand the willingness to take risks and maybe turn the corner. And you have to play to your odds. You know, making hopeful plays and big swings is the only way to get away from already being at one life at all.
Yeah, well, when you're in a bad situation and you're gonna die to anything, you're gonna do whatever you need to stay alive. And if it could turn the game around, great. If not, well, you're at 1 and you're gonna lose anyway. So
Yeah. At some point, just assume your opponent draws nothing but land.
oh well,
And
my opponents could always assume that of me. That is a safe assumption in a lot of cases.
okay, all in.
Yeah, he says, "I need to get you dead, and I need it to be now."
Mhm. Which is fair because the demon is gonna do half the work, and he just has to push him a little bit further.
Yeah, and John has a couple follow-ups here after combat with the Hazard of the Dunes and a Scurryfoot. So he's just going to fill the board right back up here. It's going to make it that much harder for Nick to get out of this.
Yes. Nick also having to catch all 8 damage from the Hazard of the Dunes makes this block so much rougher.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best option is to put the 6/6 in the 2/2, right? Just to get it dead.
Exactly. Yes. But even when he does, his biggest life swing would have been maybe something like uh, Haunt the Network, which sadly already got
Yeah,
milled.
was in his graveyard. It's not even that big a swing here. I mean, it's nice, but it's not going to be like gigantic.
True.
Oh,
Really,
he,
the oh, okay,
yeah, this is just to gain 2 life, which is
yeah.
this Dredger's Insight. Like, this is some of the most mileage I've ever seen this card get. Cannot be understated the role that that card, both of them have played in this game, where every point of life matters for Nick with that speed demon.
If the curse cloth wrapping had not been removed, it would have been a game-winning.
I imagine that to be correct. Yeah, the Curse Cloth wrappings was probably gonna take over the game and just gain him enough life to find what he needed with the speed demon while not being pressured. But that was not to be. So now we still see him trying to stay alive here. But he does have 5 cards. So what are his options here?
He has a Hazard of the Dunes, Mindspring Merfolk, 2 Stampeding Scurryfoots, and still the Malicious Ips. For anyone who doesn't remember what it does, just get -2/-2 until turn. If a creature, an opponent dies, they get exiled.
Okay. I mean, he can put a bunch of stuff on the board, but he's just going to die to this speed demon. So he could certainly put enough creatures so he doesn't die in combat, but that doesn't stop him from, losing to his own effect here potentially.
Yeah, the ability to draw maybe an answer sadly also falls out with not having 2 sources blue
Sure.
anymore
So
to maybe.
so this is like not even like a 2 for 1 because like he kills two opponent's creatures, but he does get a 3/3 back from the Scurryfoot. So it's really only getting one body off the board. But I guess the Beast Rider Vanguard being able to dig for cards is worth killing just on its own here.
Absolutely.
Yes, now he has to figure out what he can do with the last 5 of his mana here.
Mhm.
I assume like playing 2 things, I suppose.
Yes, playing the Hazard of the Dunes and one drop, most likely one of the Scurryfoots. I
Yeah.
mean, you could also play the Merfolk and hope to draw into an island next turn to activate it, draw up more cards, and find whatever could still turn this car around.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's drawing enough here with the Speed Demon, but
At some point, you just have to let Jesus take the wheel.
I've been told Jesus does not preside over games of Magic the Gathering, but that's neither here nor there. We are a secular server. Yeah, so John's drawn a cycling desert here, so not exactly what the doctor ordered, but at least he can redraw. And it's just a swamp here, so he's gonna hope that this speed demon is gonna turn on itself, and that'll be his path to victory here.
Mm. If you
Because
were to if you were to attack and activate the ability of the Hazard of the Dunes, he would allow Nick to sacrifice his own demon, turning off the life loss engine.
I think John needs that speed demon in play for a couple more
Yeah.
turns.
He just has to lean back and watch it happen.
What would be
Uh,
hilarious is if John had a way to like deal damage to himself during Nick's turn to bring speed to 3, but
mhm.
nothing of that nature. But that would have been a funny way to close it out here. if he had such a
But
thing.
let me tell you, right now there are already 7 lands in the field. Speed Demon, Hazard of the Dunes, but Trample, and Goku at 13, which is getting dangerously close. Uh, so he might also, if he just finds a way to get rid of his own demon after attacking next turn, it's not completely hopeless.
Yeah, that's the thing because like you look at Nick's board and you're like, well, he's one removal away from you know killing John over 2 turns, but that's he doesn't have over 2 turns because if he attacks him, he goes to 3 speed. So I could see Nick absolutely attacking with the speed demon during his turn. John's
Oh,
deciding here if he
definitely.
wants to attack or not, and I think John's path to victory is having the speed demon do the last 3 points of damage here.
Mhm. If I were to just imagine up any Aetherdrift card to fix this problem, I would just hope for a bounce, aiming at my own speed demon before it murders him at the next keep.
I mean, I'll take a spin out just as happily as a bounce at this point. But
That's true, any kind of removal. We already saw someone today winning the game by aiming his own removal at a creature.
yeah, I mean, it drew him 8 cards. I mean, this speed demon has drawn about 8 cards. So
Mm-hmm.
killing your own creature that has drawn you 8 cards or will draw you 8 cards is seemingly a good strategy. I don't know if I can attack here from John because he could. This gives this an attack allows Mike to just put his speed demon in the graveyard and then he's not really under any pressure whatsoever, and he's up on cards here.
John is fighting against his own instincts as a Magic player
Yeah,
by having to lean back and watch instead of doing the work himself.
yeah. He's like, oh, I want to attack, but I I want to
Yeah, and
attack, but can I? Should I?
the game has taught us that attacking is a good thing, and that is true. In the hand, there's also a Market Back Walker that we drew up earlier. Sadly, no help, but still an awesome card.
What's funny is that attacking is like bad for both players.
Mhm.
John is he's really taking this is like an agonizing decision. Like I think he wants to attack, but he knows that he needs to try and win by his opponent, you know, being killed by Speed Demon.
We drew Sita Varma, Masked Racer, which he would be able to play, but not be able to activate the exhaust ability.
That might with as much mana as he has, if John doesn't draw a creature, if Nick just like plays 2 more things this turn and then activates Seed of Arma next turn, that's his path to victory there. That's his 13
Exactly.
damage.
Never say die, clearly. This might be a complete U-turn, putting us in the driver's seat.
Yeah. I mean, I think definitely unless John can find something that can deal 1 damage, uh I it looks like Nick's going to be able to get lethal here next turn with the Seed of Arma activation. Yeah, he's just going to flood the board with things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's play
He's playing,
this. Yeah, let's.
yeah. Mark it back with 1 to keep up 1 exhaust from stampeding Scurryfoot, just to maximize all the possible damage out of a Seed of Armor.
So let's do some math
What
here. He can pump everything plus, or turn everything into 8/8.
what did he? Okay,
He's on a
Terrier.
Tarian, but 3 creatures are going to get through, which is a mere 24 damage.
If I may say it, this final play might be.
This is going to be one of the more memorable
Oh
moments from this
no!
league. Perhaps, like I said, perhaps of the whole year.
People are not tired enough of hearing my voice. They need to hear a recording of it as well.
Memorable. It's okay.
It's a memorable game, really. I mean,
Yeah.
John's just looking at his board and he's like, "Shoot, I'm taking 20 damage next turn."
Yeah, and I feel we were also feeling very confident and thinking about possible weird, odd ways, not thinking about this big, powerful creature sitting in that pool.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll give Nick credit. He did take the risk by putting that speed demon out there when he was low-ish, and John got him to 1 with that maximum overdrive.
I think the speed demon is also very much what people want from this set. Taking risks, big and flashy, and someone is going to die.
I mean, it's an absolutely cool card. I don't know if it's up my alley as far as playstyle, but it's really cool. Like the text on it is like really evocative and interesting, and the effect, obviously, as we see, definitely has a huge impact on the game.
People were complaining the original speed mechanic kind of incentivizes being defensive, but the speed demon does what people actually expect from it, which means speeding up the game.
All right,
Now
so
he's
Nick
also
is. I mean, like if I'm Nick, I think I would like throw every creature I have aside from the Seat of Arma in front, just so I don't.
yes.
I think that way he survives a maximum overdrive, even though it's not looking too hot if that's the case.
Yeah. We have another forest for another one more point from the Seat of Arma activation.
Yeah, he just needs to attack all and call it a day here because it's a lot of damage.
I disagree slightly with what you said earlier because all he had to expect was bestow greatness. So putting the 1/1s in front of it would have been, well, rough.
Yeah, well, if there
That
was another maximum overdrive,
Mhm.
I believe it's not great, but he at least survives the next turn. But
Yeah, he clawed himself out of that situation really nicely
we
by
are
just getting the perfect card for this situation in the last possible moment.
we are certainly getting maximum mileage tonight out of our feature matches here. All of which are going to game 3, all of which are have been a pretty good length. You know, the first one was about 70 minutes, second one was 45 minutes, and here we're already at the 40-minute mark here going into game 3. So,
Richard, I am deeply offended that you still could not resist doing the car pun right there.
well, like, what can we do? It's our last hurrah here at the racetrack.
Absolutely. I am seeing the 3 more Velohard bikes in the sideboard, just laughing Nick into in his face. Now that he can expect to be on the draw, it might ticket toys in here.
It looks like we're bringing in some broken wings here. Just guess he saw just enough targets. Yeah, I see these two like siphon fuels in John's deck, and I'm just like, doesn't make you feel great, but he's doesn't have like a huge amount of removal, so it's kind of necessary. Like his removal is not super numerous here. He's just got like one spin out. I mean, he's got the 2 maximum overdrive that can be used as removal. He's got a Grim Bobble, a run over, like so. The siphon fuels, despite not feeling or looking great, I could see they're kind of needed here.
Absolutely, and it is an almost universal removal, not perfectly because Hazards of the Dunes, Market Backwalker, and Seat of Arma if you have enough mana. But if someone makes them that big, it's getting into a territory of almost losing anyway.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch what he took out of his deck there. Or one of the cards he took out. Actually, I'm not sure what it was, but he definitely said, "I want some more interaction here." Uh, you know, even like he saw the Kurth Cloth wrappings, he saw Speed Demon, he saw things that Broken Wings hits that he wants to kill. All right.
There's another single land hand for Nick on the first step.
Certainly, he's not keeping it again.
He did not. He gave it away. Now he's looking at 3 lands: Mindspring, Merfolk, Mold Tender, Seat of Arma, and Velohard Pike.
Sounds like that'll have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so John's got a particularly slow hand here, I would say. He's got Maximum Overdrive, he's got Back on Track, he's got Ketrodon, and he's got the Agonosaur, the 8/8, but like just no plays at all for the early turns.
It's a rough decision right now. Nick could have kept the Molt Tender to fix all his colors and ramped nicely, but he runs a huge risk because he might get removed.
Yeah, so
Uh,
the one thing the slow hand has is that he could cycle the Ketrodon and get it back with the Back on Track. But I mean, that you're only getting out a turn early, so it's not like you're breaking the game or anything.
Nick's still thinking hard, undecided about getting rid of it, and he seems to take maybe the risk keeping a Molt Tender and giving up one.
Okay.
It would make sense if he can ramp out Velohard Bike. He is going to have universal fixing for his colorful deck.
Yeah, this like Nick's hand stands to potentially be plenty good enough because John just has no early plays and no removal.
Yep.
So it's like, I mean, you don't want a mulligan, but when you have like lands and stuff that you could eventually cast, but I guess he figures opponent's deck is going to be slow, but Nick's actually going to have a pretty assertive start, it seems, with what he's kept.
Yes, Nick is going to deal some damage. He drew into a Wreckage Wickerfolk, which is a great turn two to find whatever he wishes for, but he puts down Sitavama, taking the risk of getting a remove, but also getting 2 more damage each attack now.
The thing is, if he looks at John's pool, he's going to see there's only one card in John's pool that can actually just kill this straight up right now, which is the one spin out. So it's pretty safe. It's pretty safe to run it out. This Wickerfolk is nice, getting rid of 2 lands here. So as suspected, he did cycle the Ketrodon just because his hand had no plays until turn 5. So he does get a couple more lands off the deck here. So maybe churning away at his deck and being able to play a few more things.
Nick playing Velohard Bike and the Mindspring Merfolk. He has 1 more island in his hand. So next turn he could play that and draw 3 cards off the Merfolk.
And it was a very pretty looking card on top, which was another forest here to go along with the 2 still in his hand. So, I mean, he does have the 5 mana 8/8. He does have the Back on Track. He does have the Maximum Overdrive. So he's got things to do, except his opponent just gets to develop his board without being interacted with or having John, develop his board either.
Nick has the option to threaten attacking and activating Sitavama.
I mean,
or waiting it out and drawing 3 cards.
Yeah, you could draw. Yeah, I mean, drawing 3 cards. Who needs to pump power when you could just draw 3 cards, right?
Well, he could use a momentum breaker to clear up the way.
Yeah, that's
which
good.
He chooses to.
Yeah, this is just this hand just didn't quite work out for John. There's going to be a big Seat of Armor attack in his future here.
We are looking at a Swamp Engine Rat. Likely to keep the Swamp for 2 big exhaust activations in the next few turns.
Looks like he kept both.
Yes, he kept them both and kept the Swamp at the top for a big impact next turn.
Yeah, so I mean, I know John's deck has a lot of cheap plays. I'm still looking back at that starting hand and just wondering, if that's like a hand that's okay to keep because it was so risky.
I think it is just because he has so many cheap plays in his deck. The chance of drawing one of them is maybe 1 in 3, 1 in 4.
See, if I had like 2 or 3 Grim Baubles or like 2 or 3 spinouts in my deck, I'd feel a lot happier about keeping a slow hand because I know I have a lot of removal to draw to. But he just lacks cheap removal, which is a problem with a keep like this because he has no cheap plays nor nothing to play on the board and nothing to interact. So he just risks falling behind to anything that opponent plays. In this case, opponent played a couple rares, so that's no fun. But is this 8/8 going to be surviving? I'm guessing it is.
Yes, it will be. We
Okay.
only have a migrating Catrodon still sitting in the hand. And we are instead drawing lands on our own turn, not using the 1 mana from the Velohard like. So he can play his Engine Rat that he
Yeah.
looked at in the turn before.
He knew he was getting an Engine Rat, so
Exactly.
he attacked for 1 in the air. So are you telling me there's a gigantic green creature that does not have reach in this set? What? They print those?
Exactly.
That
It is a
underpowered.
flavor break because
Underpowered.
at this point in Magic, the only requirement for reach can be it's big.
Oh, yeah.
Even that is optional.
Like I used to think it's like, okay, spiders, like it's like certain types of creatures could get reach. Now it's just like any old thing can have reach. You have a in red you got a shark pirate with reach at common.
No, you have to see this differently. All those creatures have a blue bow that is not featured on the artwork. Okay, so these Ketradons are archers. And archers having reach just makes sense.
See, I used to assume that any creature that had a bow and was holding a bow in their art had reach. But now there's just the bow. You don't even, that doesn't even have to be in the art anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, it almost is. Maybe we should, in paper, also get ourselves little blue bows that we put on them to really.
John
get
does
the
have
point.
some tricks here. He has maximum overdrive, defend the rider. Even has a broken wings, but the broken wings doesn't kill anything that he needs.
Oh, maximum overdrive, of course, especially for.
Yeah, but this Seed of Arma attack is looking pretty scary here.
Yes. If I remember correctly, her activation is 3 mana and.
Yeah, so if he taps the Veloheart, he can get everything up to 6 power, which would basically get him close to winning the game. With the broken wings in hand, it would not, but it looks like he's going to attack here.
Oh.
I mean, it doesn't really need to block, honestly.
Yes, it would be terrible for him if he tried to do a double block to destroy the Agasaur Rex, but I am putting an Engine Rat before it isn't too much of a.
I'm kind of okay taking 8 and just hoping that Seed of Arma can win the game here.
I completely understand using the rat to threaten killing it unless Goku Go Home is willing to give up a combat trick to kill a one.
I mean, he's got nothing else going on.
Yeah.
He's got absolutely nothing else happening here, so. So Seed of Arma is going to be not quite lethal, but it's going to be it's going to be close.
Well, there's an additional swamp in hand that is going to hit the board.
Okay, there's a Broken Wings here to take out. Broken Wings will take out the Wreckage Wicker Folk at the very least. Or the Veloheart Bike if that ends up attacking. But
he needs to time that perfectly, otherwise he is going to use the Wicker Folk through the bike and then activate and attack with.
Yeah, so well, normally you would declare your attackers and then you could activate Seed of Arma. Right, so he has set an upkeep stop here. Maybe he thought he might want to surveil, but
yes, there's a pro and con to that because he doesn't have lethal. The attack is just almost lethal, and getting people low just doesn't win the game yet.
Well, so it's lethal if John has nothing, but he has to assume John has something.
Yes. The whole theme of this night was that the good plays and the good players, all of them, were expecting and preparing for the worst instead of just assuming everything fine.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to do the all-out attack here. And he is just going to activate. So John's gonna actually, yeah. So he makes the blocker here with Defend the Rider, which doesn't happen too much. So John does not have like a lethal attack back or anything, but he does have a pretty nice. I mean, he does have to. Oh, he doesn't have to chump block here. He can take 15 or 14.
Yes. The question is if he is willing to go.
This just leaves him with so few options here. Giving up the 6/6 just. Yeah.
The good thing is he has a large creature to now block
Yeah.
whatever attacks him next turn.
He has a life total. That's helpful, and he does have another play here.
Yes, thankfully. If he didn't have a play, he would have lost to the Velohard by getting food and an attack with.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, the Seat of Arma absolutely stealing the game last game, and this game I wouldn't say stealing it, but definitely putting him way ahead here.
We are looking at a run over and a speed demon. The run over itself is going to lead to lethal.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do here. He's just gonna. Is it lethal?
Yes.
Yeah, with the bike, it's
attack with everything.
Yeah, it's exactly 10 here.
Yep.
Well, he says, I'm going to give my guy trample because I can and I want to. I'm going to do whatever the heck I want.
I respect it.
Give my guy trample. But he did not give him 2 counters. He said, I refuse to do that. But we're getting an attack for 10 here. So Seat of Arma absolutely, as we know it, taken over games, whether in the late stages or in the middle stages, as we saw with this game. So congratulations to Nick for staying alive here in week 6. He gets to keep fighting, as does John. And that's a wrap on our feature matches for Aetherdrift League. So we'll see everybody back for the top 8 and as well for coverage of the Next Generation League. So thank you for watching.